Prince Edward and his wife Sophie received new titles, becoming the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. Because of this change, their youngest son James, who had previously held the title Viscount Sever, inherited his father's secondary title and is now known as the Earl of Wessex. Even though James has been seen publicly at key royal occasions lately, not much is widely known about the 17-year-old who lives with his parents at Bagshot Park, a 17th-century property close to Windsor. James is currently 16th in the royal line of succession and is the youngest grandchild of Queen Elizabeth II. He was born as James Alexander Philip Theo Mountbatten Windsor in Surrey on December 17, 2007. When he was born, he was 8th in the line of succession, ahead of his older sister Lady Louise Windsor, who is now 17th. His father warmly described him as very cute and very cuddly when he was born. However, a major shift in the succession rules has since taken place with the introduction of the Succession to the Crown Act. This law means that boys no longer come before their sisters in the order of succession. Passed in 2013, this act only affects those born after October 28, 2011. As a result, James still comes before Louise in the line of succession, and this wasn't changed even by the birth of Zara Tindall's third child, Lucas, last year. Even though Princess Anne, Zara's mother, is older than Prince Edward, she was born before the Succession to the Crown Act was enforced. James, who is believed to have been one of Queen Elizabeth's favorite grandchildren, was baptized in April 2008 at the beautiful private chapel inside Windsor Castle. When Prince Edward and Sophie got married in 1999, they decided their future children would be given courtesy titles rather than being called Prince or Princess, a decision supported by the late Queen. James was given the title Viscount Sever, which is one of his father's lesser titles. It is thought that this title was chosen to recognize Sophie's Welsh background, as the name comes from the River Severn in Wales. Despite their high profile, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh focused on raising their children in a more grounded and humble way. Because of this, there is not much public information about James and Louise. However, Sophie has shared a few details about their family life, including their love of barbecue meals, with Prince Edward being particularly skilled at grilling. During a 2020 interview with The Times, Sophie was asked how she tries to give her children a normal life. She responded by questioning what normal even means and mentioned that both children attend regular schools. At that time, James and Louise were both enrolled in independent schools. Reports suggest that James attended two coeducational preparatory schools, Eagle House School and St. George's School, both located close to their residence. These schools typically educate children up to the age of 13, which suggests that James likely moved to a different school a couple of years ago. Sophie also shared that both James and Louise enjoy having sleepovers, going to parties with their friends, and taking walks with the family's dogs, offering small insights into their day-to-day routines. According to Sophie, not every grandchild has grandparents who live in a castle, and when James and Louise are with the Queen, she is simply their grandmother. Sophie also mentioned that they are raising their children with the understanding that they will probably need to work for a living one day. And this influenced their choice not to give them His or Her Royal Highness titles. While Lady Louise is recognized for her academic accomplishments, though her A-level results haven't been publicly shared, she secured a place at St. Andrews University to study English. On the other hand, not much is known about James's academic performance. In a 2016 interview, Sophie explained that when their children were very young, the couple aimed to keep them out of the public spotlight so they could grow up as normally as possible. They understood that their children would eventually need to find jobs and support themselves, and they wanted to start them off with a grounded beginning to prepare them for real life. In more recent years, James has started to gain attention through a few major public appearances. At age 11, he took part in his first official overseas trip in April 2015, when he joined his parents and sister on a visit to South Africa. During this trip, they visited the Ubuntu Foundation, a charitable organization based in Grahamstown. Sophie stressed how important it was to show her children the reality that there's a strong need to care for and support the communities surrounding these beautiful areas. Despite James not showing much interest in social media, something Sophie revealed during a 2020 interview, Both she and Edward still plan to teach their children how to use it wisely as they grow older. Sophie acknowledged that the online world can often be cruel, but she hopes that by having a close and open relationship with their children, they'll be better prepared to handle it. Sophie, who is a patron for both the NSPCC and Childline, also spoke about how important it is for teenagers to have adults they can rely on. She strongly believes that keeping family communication open is key to helping young people through their teenage years. James has made public appearances at important royal events, such as Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee. He also stood vigil with his cousins beside his grandmother's coffin at Westminster Hall after her death in September of the previous year. During the solemn ceremony, the then 14-year-old stood with his head bowed, looking at the floor for around 10 minutes. His respectful behavior during the event was praised, as he showed maturity beyond his age. More recently, in May, James was seen at King Charles's coronation. Dressed in a sleek black suit, he looked polished and refined, pairing it with a white shirt and a burgundy tie. After the coronation, the family appeared on the famous Buckingham Palace balcony along with the other working royals, as a huge crowd of excited fans packed the mall, cheering loudly. James and Lady Louise stood proudly next to their royal parents, waving to the crowd as they waited for the RAF flypast. However, due to heavy rainfall in London, the flypast had to be scaled down to helicopters and a display by the Red Arrows. James was also seen alongside his family and other royals at the coronation concert held at Windsor Castle. Interestingly, James and his sister did not take part in the carriage procession during the Trooping the Colour event in June, nor did they appear on the Buckingham Palace balcony like they had the previous year. It was reported that King Charles wanted to reserve the balcony for working royals only. Around the same time, it was also mentioned that James had a packed academic schedule and was busy preparing for his GCSE exams. As dedicated royal followers continue to watch closely, the question remains whether this young and largely private royal will take on a bigger role in the public duties of the monarchy in the future. And so, as the royal spotlight slowly begins to shift toward the next generation, James, Earl of Wessex, quietly stands at the edge of history, not demanding attention, but earning admiration through grace, humility, and quiet strength. In a world where public image often overshadows personal values, James represents a refreshing blend of tradition and normalcy, of royal duty and grounded upbringing. As we watch him grow, from a reserved young boy into a poised young man, one can't help but wonder what role he'll ultimately play in the future of the monarchy. Will he step forward when called, or will he choose a quieter path, like his parents once envisioned for him? Either way, the legacy of Queen Elizabeth's favorite grandchild is still being written. Not in the grand halls of Buckingham Palace, but in classrooms, quiet family barbecues, and respectful nods at royal events. It's the kind of legacy that speaks louder than titles. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe James will one day step into a more public role? Or will he chart a different course altogether? If this story touched you or gave you new insight into the younger faces of the monarchy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a royal update from Modest Narratives. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep watching the royal world unfold.